This is Comic Geek Speak, episode 1934, 21 Bun Salute.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
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 Do you want to introduce yourself, man?
No, not particularly.
Did you want to give your full name, rank, and serial number?
Your government name?
Yeah.
Once again, I do and I do for you kids, and this is the thanks I get.
Hey, you know, Pants, did you know,
I know, Pants.
that the episode of CGS that you did with Chris about grading that's on YouTube is our most watched YouTube video by a lot.
I do know that. First of all, it was like one of the first videos we did. And I mean, granted, it's 101 grading, and I was a complete novice. It was fun. We were testing out the equipment. I know Shane was on the keyboard doing the zooms and things, and it was fun. It was long, but it was fun. Yeah, I'm aware of that. Yeah. I got one or two mentions at a con. People were saying, "I know you from that video." Like, okay, yeah, very cool. That was what 2012, I think, or
No, like 16, I think.
really? Wow. Okay, I didn't know it was that recent.
I think so.
Must be your rugged good looks that just brings everybody
No,
to you.
was it? Stop it! But yes, I was well aware of that. Hey, so Adam, I haven't seen you in a while. I wanted to ask you first of all, happy opening day. It was to celebrate for baseball, although there is no Phillies game today as we record this. Got pre-rained out. But I wanted to talk to you. Are you going to any games this year at this point?
Just this very afternoon, I bought 3 tickets for the folks and myself as a birthday present for my mother. We're going to go on May 21st when the Rangers are in town. Okay.
Because I know when we used to go to a couple games, I loved going to the Dollar Dog Nights.
And the Dollar Dog Nights are no more.
Okay, so you saw about that too.
Yeah.
Okay, because I read an article on one of the Lancaster papers that I guess last year in 2023 there was
a food fight.
A food fight. You weren't at that game, were you?
No. We usually do try to time our visits to coincide with Dollar Dog Nights, but not that one.
Okay. It's like, oh my, and of course the article was just silly, throwing out like, to be frank. It's like, okay, we get it. You're doing the hot dog reference. But also, there are no more Dollar Dog Nights because of some jerk fans.
I think they're probably just using it as an excuse, Brian. I think they're determined that their margin of loss was too great there. So, and instead they're replacing it with Hatfield Frank's BOGO nights instead of just like $1 per hot dog as, house limit of 4, but it's very easy to get out around that and buy as many as you want. Instead, it's just buy one, get one free.
Okay. Because, I mean, I have a love-hate thing with baseball over the years, and I like going to the games with you and, Dollar Dog Night. That's what got me going there.
Can't you do that at the Reading Phil still?
Well,
they used to have gluttony nights at the First Energy Stadium.
Yeah, but it's like it's not the same. I mean, going to a major league game is kind of a big thing for me because I live in Reading. I've been to that stadium dozens of times, so forth. But it was fun to hang out with Adam down in Philly and get all dressed up in our Phillies gear and hold our wieners.
Yes. And get photographed doing so.
I forgot. Not that you kept count, but what was your record for Dollar Dogs?
Well, I don't think I ever had more than 5 at a sitting.
Okay. I think I had 6 one time.
See, just a relative lightweight.
Fun times.
Indeed. And may they come again one day.
Yeah, but this is why we can't have nice things.
That's because we're Philadelphia and we don't know how to behave in public.
Because we were the worst, the article kept saying. It's like, okay, we get it. Spell W-U-R-S-T. All right.
Should we get a hot dog gun for the gala for the 20th anniversary?
I don't know, Brian. Is it in the budget?
We're gonna get 30 of them, and we're all just gonna shoot them at Pants. That's gonna be the fundraiser. We're gonna you buy tickets to get a gun to.
Why must I always be the target? Quite literally.
No, think of it as a 21 bun salute.
Yeah.
See? You're that so-called journalist. I can make stupid hot dog puns too.
Is that our title?
Yeah.
21 bun salute. There we go. Write that
I mean, you
down.
have to admit that would be freaking funny. No matter who we were shooting him at, right? It doesn't have to be just Pants. Like, you take anybody, and that would be pretty hilarious.
Brilliant. Just
21
brilliant.
bun salute.
Speaking of the 20th anniversary thing,
Yes.
Peter, we should like announce what we were talking about, right? We sponsors, baby, sponsors.
Geez, I thought you meant Stan Lee was our guest of honor. We're gonna stick him up in the corner.
We're better connected than I thought. We can manage that.
Madam Citrona is gonna have a séance, and we're gonna talk to Stan Lee. Yeah. No, we all right. So, in typical CGS fashion, it's already blown up. It's only been a week, and we already sold. Have more people expressing interest.
Well,
than,
not sold.
Listen. We already have more people who have acquired tickets than can be accommodated at Golden Eagle, so we need to expand. So we've already locked down a facility. We're going to do it at the Goggle Works in Reading, which has a really nice facility there, a beautiful room, brick walls, windows. We're on the 4th floor looking out over, whatever you can see from the 4th floor at the Goggle Works. It's really a nice space. So I still don't want to charge people any money to go to the thing because, they're going to pay to get there, however they're getting there. So, but we need to pay for the place. So we got to raise some money somehow. So we want to do a series of sponsorships. And I think this is pretty cool. We're going to sell 10 spots, 10 sponsors. It's going to be $100 each. And what you're going to get with that is 2 full episode sponsorships, just like we used to do back in the day. And you're going to get a mention on every single episode we record from now until the 20th anniversary. That is an entire year of mentions if you sign up now. Obviously, every week that you wait to sign up is a little slightly fewer mentions than you get. So your return on investment becomes less the longer you wait. So sign up now. Send me an email at brian@comicgeekspeak.com if you want to become one of our sponsors. And 10, that's it. First come, first serve. And we're done, and we're locked in, and we're riding it out until the 20th anniversary. So already everything's changing. It's only been a week. What'll next week bring? We have no idea. But, things are happening, maybe. Things are happening.
Yeah. And we should probably mention that it'll be on the regular CGS episodes as opposed to like crisis tapes and things like that. We'll keep it to where we're all in the focus. So yeah, I mean it's old school, right? It's old school sponsoring, helps us out. We're doing other things. Brian has ideas, where do you want to give a number by now, or do you want to save it? Do you want to say how many people are signed up already, or?
Oh, we already got like 75 people signed up.
Yeah.
Again, it's only been a week, so I'm sure that number will climb by the end of a year,
Right. And that's not even including us and anybody that we bring, So that's more than I thought.
Pants has an entire entourage,
So I sort of asked this question, I think, in the email before, Brian, but can you update the ticket link to the new address?
I will. Yeah, I'll be doing that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, probably tomorrow.
Oh, fantastic. Wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, we still obviously want Golden Eagle to be part of it. We'll be in conversations with them. Hopefully,
I actually stopped by
there.
there. What day is today? Today's Thursday. I stopped by there yesterday on New Comic Book Day and spoke to Scott briefly. And
yeah,
because let them know that we already got 70-some people.
their anniversary is next year too, I think.
Well, I mean, they have an anniversary every year, but I mean, like, a specific number, like 40 or something.
I think it's the 40th. Yeah, I think we have to sort of set
you have to look into that.
Yeah, So that'll be great. And the space is beautiful. I've been there. I've set up things there before. It really is beautiful. It reminds me of um, the Mocha events in New York that we used to go to in the early CGS days. Like it was like in a I forget where that was, but it was very open. It had linens in the ceiling, not the armory, but before that, wherever that was held.
A lot of bricks and exposed duct work.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, beautiful place, and we'll get into more specifics as we go. Hopefully, we don't grow out of that place. Oh my God! But like by the time the event rolls around next year, they'll probably have a cafe open downstairs because we can't bring food into the place, but it's a quick drive to West Reading, and there's a whole bunch of food places there. There's ample parking, so right off one of the main highways into Reading, it's very easily accessible.
Yeah, and it's super close to Third and Spruce too. Yes. Like if we do go there in the evening, it's like a 2-minute drive to Third and Spruce from there. That was a big deal. We also got a T-shirt. I did talk to Charlito, and he is going to be helping us with a T-shirt design for 20th anniversary.
Nice.
So that's really cool. And I've been digging through the old emails and unearthing the old T-shirt designs. And so I'm probably we might do a series of get a classic T-shirt. Like if you want one, right? Take orders. Like so in the next couple of weeks, we're gonna have a whole bunch of stuff happening again to help raise some money for the thing, because the sponsorships don't pay for the whole thing. We're still gonna so we're gonna try to have some fun.
Yeah.
So if you missed out on some shirts back in the day,
or if they've been worn to death and now have holes in them.
We have a lot of artwork floating around, I'll tell you what.
I don't have a con shirt.
Really? You never got one of those?
No, I never got one of the
man.
I was always wondering if they were going to cease and desist us with that, but
you mean this one right here?
Yes, there it is.
I tell you, everything was within arm's reach of me. I have that. I've got this.
Yeah.
Sorry, no one can see what I'm showing up there, but I had held up the old con T-shirt. Yeah, nice.
One of the things we, as we're sort of batting around, like, what are we going to do? Obviously, we don't want the logistics of a full super show with like artists, but knowing that people might attend, just be prepared for like, it's going to be different than, it's not a mini con. Like we don't want to think of it that way. But if people want to set up, you're not going to get an 8-foot table. Like it's not going to be that way because we just don't have the space, we're going to have to be real limited on that. But one of the things I thought we could, there's a lot of stuff we have on the list, but I thought that would be a sort of like what we did for some of the, I think it was episode 300, is to have like a corner for like trivia. Bring the trivia boards, bring the trivia cards, because I know people did that at episode 300, and they can just talk and sit there and just play the game and like for whatever, or just that it's there so they can see it. So that I'm gonna bring all that stuff, so that should be fun. Just to give people, because there might be people who don't like to talk. Maybe they want to be there, but they don't necessarily, but they'll play that game, or they want to do whatever. So I was trying to think of a way to quickly mass produce more cards by next year.
I think we might have our hands full with stuff to do for the next year. So
we're already behind the 8 ball, right? Like we're not even there yet. We got feedback from Tom Martinek.
I saw that. Yes.
Yep. It says, hey guys, I don't go to Facebook anymore, and the main comics forums seem kind of dead. Ha ha ha. But I wanted to congratulate you guys on your 20th anniversary. I won't be able to make it to the Super Show, but please let me know if there's anything I can do. I also vote for a new T-shirt. Tom, still listening after all these years.
Well, now he called it Super Show. We got to pump the brakes on that.
You know what? It's going to be whatever the people want it to be.
Well, that's true.
I'm not going to squash on their dreams.
Super soiree.
There you go.
And in our discussion about, being one of the long-lived podcasts, 20 years, totally neglected to mention it. I apologize for slipping our minds. Los Comic Geekos is still going on.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. Yep.
And they started like also in March, like a week or something like that after us, and which means certainly they were thinking about it. Yeah, they're still going on. Let's see, they're doing that's a rerun. Episode 964 was dropped on March 17th, 2024, all about Akira Toriyama, when he passed away, the creator of Dragon Ball. And yeah, so they're nearing 1,000 episodes.
Yeah, I'm still friends with Omar on Facebook and see all his posts and everything. So
yeah. So we're gonna have to do another collaboration because they were like our earliest collaborators back then.
The crossover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
And I went to El Salvador to visit them.
Yeah.
So that was super cool.
Yeah. Forum. You got forum news, Brian.
We got forum news. So it's been, the forums have been very, very problematic over the years. A lot of crashing, a lot of restarting, new forums, lost posts, you
the
name
occasional cyber terrorist attack.
Yes, exactly. That too. All kinds of stuff.
Yeah, the crash after Ben just mentioned us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so many things, but they have been very poorly attended for the last several years, to put it lightly. It's not a lot of traffic, right? But they're expensive, and so I'm making the decision. We're pulling the plug. We'll give people a couple weeks to like save any posts they want or whatever, or exchange email addresses with the people they chat with the most if they really have some connections there. But it's just not financially worth it for us to keep them running. And we all, we have conversations that are happening on Facebook and different places. And so we want to like try to consolidate some of those conversations so that, more people can participate. So yeah, it's time to say goodbye. Like they were great, and we made a lot of friends because of those forums, and it was really fantastic. But the whole internet has sort of shifted away from forums and that stuff. So we're just gonna save some money and go with the times. So that's the big announcement.
Yeah, and it was a considerable monthly amount too. It wasn't like it was we're not being like chintzy,
Yeah, no, they were overpriced, and I knew it like for a long time, but like the forums were important, so we paid it, and now it's like, well, now it's definitely not worth the cost. Yeah.
I remember when it went down. I don't remember which time it went down, but we got that hilarious voicemail from Vince B where he pitched his voice up and he was like, just bring back the forums. Just bring back the forums. I don't know if you remember. If you go to like one of the Songs of CGS episodes, I'm fairly certain it's included in one of those, just the insanity of people whenever they went down, or just the stuff that happened on there. Like I remember when that this is going deep. So like, DCBS has been a long time friend of ours, supporter of ours, and sponsor, but really, they started out as just like really cool. They were part of the community, and they used to give us like tons of stuff to give away for all our, like, whatever contest we wanted. They were like, yep. And like the book of the months, they used to sponsor that, but I remember there was that one other online, they're defunct, but it was like Heroes Corner or something like that. And they tried to go on the forum like, oh, I know you guys talk about DCBS, but what about these guys? And they were just being like total like newbies on the forum, pawning this other thing. And I was like, what's going on here? So I checked their whatever number, and it pointed like all back to like the website and all this stuff. And I was like, these mother effers are trying to like come into our hizzy and start trouble. Oh, those forums. I called somebody an ass.
Only one person you call an ass?
No, I'm sure there was a lot more than that. But good times. Good times.
I mean, in the heyday, man, there were like hundreds of posts a day. It was crazy. So much activity.
And you guys hosted like dozens of other podcasts forums on there as well.
Yeah, I mean, at one point, we had which is why they were called the comic forums, because it was not just us; it was
anybody
all
who
things
wanted
comics,
it.
right?
Yep.
All I had to do
was
was
really
ask.
Cool.
Yeah,
it was fun.
I mean, people still refer to themselves as their forum names a lot of times. Like, the Uncanny X-Cast guys just came back again after like a 5-year hiatus, and they put out like 3 new episodes. And Brian and Rob, I love them. I love their show. And when people call up and send them messages, voice messages, or they talk about them, they inevitably always say we remember the forum name, and this is me, this is my name, Masked Hero, and all these, like,
here's my Saravatar.
Yes. So, yeah, definitely huge legacy. But we'll have
I'd love to see some new artwork from Rob Jackson. I mean, I know he was, I don't know if he's still doing, he was designing video games for a while. I'm not sure. I know that was super stressful, so I don't know if he actually does it anymore, but he's still on Facebook and still out there. In fact, he just left a comment on somebody's post. Maybe it was when we announced the 20th anniversary thing. He posted to somebody, can you, jokingly, like, can you give me a ride? Because obviously the UK is a bit far for a ride. But yeah, so he's still paying attention. I love Rob's artwork so much.
I mean, we used to, that was one thing that was cool about that community. I mean, everybody was because podcasting was so new, so everybody was so jazzed and energized. But even if they weren't future podcasters, future comic creators, like, people had like a lot of talent, in whatever they were in, and people were very supportive of each other, which was so great. But yeah, like Rob Jackson, Loopy Dave, Soda, remember, like Mike Parkinson and Lord Mesa, and like all these people that used to, certainly Marty Devine used to always dump his artwork. Those were good times. Those were good times. Sad to see him go. Anybody going to the Star Wars movie marathon or the re-release of all the Spider-Man movies? Anybody have any interest in that? No.
I can't sit in the theater that long. I can't sit still. I gotta pee. It's like, there's just no way. Like, I know. I mean, I know you get breaks between the movies and stuff, but still, like, oh my God, like, that's a long time to just sit down. I couldn't even do that at home. I can barely watch one movie in a row anymore without getting antsy, let alone 2 or 3. Like, I don't know.
They said that's like a 20-hour. It's like a 20-hour marathon, 21 hours. It's 21 hours or something like that. That's a lot.
It's crazy. That's just crazy. I bet they better be shooting hot dogs out into the stadium, into the seats when you're watching them. What the hell are you going to do 21 hours?
I've never seen the first trilogy. I don't think I saw any of them. Maybe Return of the Jedi, but
you didn't watch them when the re-releases came out in the 90s?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
I never saw Star Wars in the theater, the original, but I saw Empire and Jedi. And then I saw all of them when they did the special edition re-releases,
right.
in the late 90s or whatever that was. 97 or something.
I went to that Superman re-release because I was like, I want to see that on the big screen. Because I was a kid in a drive-in, and I'm fairly certain I fell asleep like in the middle of it because it was late at night, taking a kid. I was, when that movie come out, 78?
78, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like 6, 7, past my bedtime. So I definitely went to see that. That was an emotional roller. I think some of you guys did too. You did an episode on it. Yeah. Anybody watching the X-Men animated stuff?
It's on my to-do list. Haven't gotten to it yet.
It's fantastic. I love it. I watched episode 3 today. people are like, oh, the animation's so weird and it's so overacted acting. I'm like, did you see the original? It's the animation was garbage back then too, but it was, it was a super popular cartoon, maybe not necessarily for like our generation, but certainly like for a younger generation. Like they love that cartoon. And they're hitting beats that are interesting and moving quickly through stories. There's some emotionality to it. The Cyclops is in the first two episodes. In the first episode, he just comes across so well as a character. It's amazing, doing things with his powers that I don't think necessarily he has done in the comics, because you can show it on animation, right? You can think big, you can do big, and I feel like some of the grand things that they're doing in this cartoon, it's like even better than stuff they've done in the movies, because you're limited by whatever technology, imagination, but you can do these things in the animated universe. Some of the voices are back. Even the promotional stuff, when they had a poster for the new series, and it was like a bunch of VHS tapes, and you saw their faces across the top, right? And it's like, yeah, they know they're going backwards with this, quote unquote, right? Like they know what they're trying to do with this. They're not trying to be super modern with it. I think it works. I've watched it. Actually, I've watched all 3 episodes. First 2 episodes I've watched twice, and then the last one I watched just once today. It's good. I'm really liking it. I think it's going to be one of those kind of like Picard, where we're getting these one-off stories every episode, but there seems to be something just sort of hinting in the background that I don't think is anywhere near being played out just yet. But it's good. If anybody's on the fence, just go watch it. Like, don't think so hard about it. It's not going to live up to current animation, and it's not supposed to, because it's clearly in the title, X-Men 97, But my hope is that they do a Spider-Man one, and there was talks of, through the X-Men one, they might try to bring in some of the other animated shows like Fantastic Four, or what was that, Iron Man. I think there was the Silver Surfer. So yeah, it's good. I'm having a lot of fun with it, so I highly recommend it.
I never watched the original because it had shitty animation, and I was an adult and I didn't care, right?
Yeah.
Like, and so like I can't, like, I'll watch at least the first episode just to see, but it hasn't been a priority because I'm like, I have nothing invested in it, because I saw bits and pieces of a couple episodes of the original, and that was enough for me to be like, no thanks, like, so yeah, I think it was definitely for the people who are like 10 years younger than us, or something like that.
Well, I kind of am 10 years younger than the rest of you, give or take a couple of years. And, I mean, when was that on? Like 92 through 96, something like that? Because, 92 was when I got into comics, and I was 13, and certainly not too old to be watching Saturday morning cartoons, and I was eating the stuff up. I mean, I knew the animation wasn't exactly top notch, but that's never bothered me over much, honestly. And so, yeah, I enjoyed it, and I'm sure I'll enjoy the new 97 volume just as soon as I get some spare time with the. I used to be able to watch this stuff at work, but apparently Disney Plus has evolved past the point that it's willing to cooperate with my browser here at work. So,
yeah, I didn't watch it. I was in college at that point, so I would like watch a few episodes. I think I might have watched the pilot or the opening one. If they dipped into like the Dark Phoenix saga, I remember watching some of those episodes as well. Yeah, we were those of us who are Gen X, probably early Gen X. We probably were like, nah, it's not our thing. But
yep. Well, I'm tail end of Gen X, and it was absolutely my jam.
Yeah, it's good. So I'll be anxious to hear what you think, Adam.
Yeah, I've got those somewhere, the original somewhere on VHS in my house here somewhere that I recorded from that day. But I haven't, watched them in forever, and I don't have Disney Plus right now, so I haven't gotten back into watching. Otherwise, I would have watched them.
I was going to watch the Spider-Man one because I don't think, if I saw a handful of X-Men cartoons, I saw even less of the Spider-Man one.
We're talking the 90s Spider-Man series here as opposed to Amazing Friends or...
Correct. Yeah, correct. Yeah, because that's right. That weird 60s one I used to watch in reruns, but then I grew up with Amazing Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. But then the new one, no, it just totally bypassed me. But I just want to see it because I love how it's kind of like the Justice League animated series as well, that evolved from Batman animated and Superman animated and Justice League Unlimited. Like, the history is what interests me more. I want to know what they do differently and how they approach it, because I know it's crazy. I know that series was crazy.
Well, here's a sample. In that reality, Electro is the Red Skull's son, and he speaks with a German accent.
Okay.
That's straying pretty far from the source material there.
It's far cry, the days of watching Star Blazers, and I mean, certainly the ones we did watch, they were not the best either. Thundercats and some of the other ones, but it's what you grow up with,
Nostalgia is so strong.
Yeah. So
strong.
They just dropped the Beetlejuice trailer and my little sister, she used to watch that 5 times a day. Just constantly just would want to watch it and watch it again and again and again. So I sent the video to her, the link to the trailer, and she wrote back like just tons of emojis and screaming and all that kind of stuff. So, but it looks good, Love that original movie. So that's, again, nostalgia. And they're calling it Beetlejuice. So I'm like, are they gonna do a third one then? Beetlejuice. They have to, right? Like,
then he just comes to your house.
Yeah.
Like Michael Keaton just shows up at everybody's house. That's just how it works, right?
He'll do it too.
They should do a crossover between Beetlejuice and The Ring, and it'll just come right out of your TV.
Cthulhu just pop up, I was never Beetlejuice never really hit for me.
No?
Like, I've seen it, but maybe twice. Like, it didn't catch me the way that all the other movies at that time, are firmly embedded in me. But that one is like, I can give or take it, like, I'll probably watch the new one when it's on HBO or whatever, but I'm not like excited for it. But I get why everyone else is,
Yeah. What do you think of Tim Burton?
I mean, I love Tim Burton.
Oh, okay.
Just for some reason, that one felt just weird. Like, it was just weird. Like, I like Tim Burton weird, but this one was like, I don't really get it. Like, who cares about this guy? I don't know. It just didn't hit, right? What year did it come out?
88, I think.
Yeah, so it was like, 14. I don't know. Like, there was a lot of other stuff. I mean, it's fine, but it just didn't hit. I don't know.
So I know, like, Michael Keaton he had been in a bunch of movies prior to that.
Mm-hmm. But this is pre-Batman, definitely.
Yes, yeah. I want to look up to see if it's is it around the time of Mr. Mom? Probably after?
Definitely after.
Johnny Dangerously was close.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah. I love that movie too. Oh my God, I love it.
Oh my God, I saw it once, and that was more than I could take. I went to see it. I went to see it in the theater, and it was I just remember being the most awful movie I've ever seen. I haven't watched it. I swear to God, haven't seen it since. My mother hung me once.
Yeah, my mother.
Which movie are we talking about here?
Johnny Dangerously.
Johnny Dangerously.
Oh, okay, yeah, with Marilu Henner.
Yeah.
Yes, and Joe Piscopo and Danny DeVito. I think it's like
my mother. What does he always say?
My mother hit me once.
You know your name's an adverb?
I don't know. I just remember being absolutely awful. I have to watch it in the 40 years since. It came out like 84, I want to say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I remember watching. So Mr. Mom is 83. Johnny Dangerously is 84. Gung Ho is 86, which I adore that movie. It's a silly movie about a car factory. George Wendt is in it. I love that. And then Beetlejuice. I mean, he had other ones, but then Beetlejuice 88, Clean and Sober 88, and then Batman 89. So yeah, he was. So I guess that's probably why I also really wanted to see it, because I knew Michael Keaton. You know, he kind of had that same energy that Bruce Willis did back in the 80s, sort of. You know. And I guess, what did Tim Burton do? Did he already do Pee-wee's?
Yeah, for sure.
That was 80, either 85 or 86.
And Edward Scissorhands, right? Was that before that, or was that after?
I think that's that's 1990.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. I can remember. I think I saw, Edward Scissorhands and the Dick Tracy movie on a single drive-in bill, and those were both 1990 then.
Frankenweenie in 1984. Pee-wee's Big Adventure 85. And then Beetlejuice 88, Batman 89, Edward Scissorhands 90, Batman Returns, Ed Wood, Mars Attacks, Sleepy Hollow, I mean, he just kept going. Big Fish. Wow.
Ed Wood is so good. God, that's such a good movie. We had we did a midnight showing of Ed Wood, and I guess like somehow everybody knew, like everybody who came to that midnight showing was like crazy, like people with green hair before everybody had green hair, and everybody with Doc Martens and crazy eye makeup and like whatever. Like it was awesome. Like we just descended upon the theater, and I worked there at the time, so I got to go for free, but it was like, yeah, it was like, oh my God, my people, all these people. I just like, I don't know any of them, but I feel like they're my best friend. Like I just knew it was, it wasn't advertised as such. It was just like special midnight showing of Ed Wood, and everybody knew to be a weirdo and show up at the midnight showing of Ed Wood. It was great.
Home. I have no home. Hunted, despised. Pull the strings, pull the levers.
I knew we were going to get to that one. Yeah. I think of Jamie every time I hear that line.
Oh, did he like that? Yeah.
Yes, he did like to quote that one.
when he flips out on, who's the other actor that he flips out on?
Carlo.
Yeah.
Sidekick. Fuck you.
Oh my God. I need to watch that again. It's been a long time.
So what have you been watching? Anything?
Well, I watched Masters of Air, about the World War II bomber crews. Oh my God.
My folks and I were watching that too.
It's top notch. And I watched the Napoleon movie also on Apple TV. Just
was that
amazing.
Joaquin Phoenix, that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he did a great job, and just Napoleon was a madman and killed millions of people for no reason, but like it's a really well done movie.
You know how like people were saying like it's too modernized or whatever. Like did that bother you, or just that it was sort of dramatized, or
No, I mean, I think that's kind of I think it fits it fits the movie is about Napoleon, right? And Napoleon very clearly had an overinflated sense of himself, right? You don't decide to be emperor and take over Europe unless you have a bit of an ego, right? So I think the movie does a good job of being like a little over the top that sort of matches his personality. I think they towed that line really well, right? I think if you go in just looking for a purely historically accurate, telling of Napoleon, that's not what you get from Ridley Scott, right? That's not on the menu, right? And what you got is just a really good, interesting dramatization of the Napoleon story.
Pants, what are you watching?
not a whole lot recently. I was wondering if I could switch gears and talk about comic books for a minute.
Sure.
Oh, wait a minute. Pants is shifting the conversation from television to comics?
Well, I mean, it's called
God
Comic
damn.
Geek Speak, and it's on my list of things to talk about. And I've every now and then I fall down a rabbit hole with going through my collection and say, "Oh, I need to read that. Oh, I need to read that." So I don't know, I just had an urging I wanted to read the Justice Society of America, the Jeff Johns series that came out in, I guess, like 2007. Not the JSA one, but the actual Society of America. So I really dug it and forgot a lot that happened in it. So I started reading it, and then it got to a point where, wait a minute, there's a crossover with the Justice League of America. So it's okay. So then I got to go dig out and go back and read the Justice League of America. This is with Brad Meltzer. And I really dug the Jeff Johns stuff in JSA. But when I was reading the Brad Meltzer Justice League, I was like, it was really a slog to get through. Very, very wordy. So many dialogue boxes, like 3 and 4 different people in like dialogue box with different colors. I had to struggle to figure out who was thinking there, and some of the designs for these 2-page spreads had everything going like, horizontally. It was really, looking back on it, it's like it's really a struggle to read, and I didn't really dig the Ed Bennis art. But anyway, so then I get to the crossover. It's called the Lightning Saga. And it's only from like 2007, so it's 17 years ago. I had forgotten completely the point of this. And when it got to the end, it's 17 years. Should I spoil what happened to the end of it?
Sure. I haven't read up to it yet, but I think I've gotten to like issue 3 of JSA, the Johns run you're talking about. But I know it involves the Legion. I know that much.
Right, it involves the Legion, but they bring back Wally West, and I'm like, wait a minute, where was Wally West? So I completely forgotten where was Wally West at this time. Anybody? Because it was post Infinite Crisis. So did he
at Denny's?
Did he disappear in Infinite Crisis? I really don't remember, and I'm really...
and this was when Bart had been temporarily aged to adulthood, and he was running around as the Flash as opposed to Kid Flash.
Okay, man, I completely forgot it. So I swear to God, I was like, wait a minute, this is what happened. So I'm obviously forgetting things because I'm a huge Wally West fan. I'm like, wait a minute, where did he go? So I don't know. I thought that was very odd when I went back to read that again. Do you guys ever read anything like that when you read something that you loved and you, wait a minute, I forgot about that completely? It's like...
That's every single comic I've ever read in my life, Pants, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I think it's because the Justice League title at that time had some baggage to it, you could sort of say that with the Justice Society, but I feel like the way they did Justice Society, especially because Alex Ross was involved.
Yes.
What was good about it was kind of like, even if it was building on JSA before it, they were sort of starting on a new ground level. Like, it's always been about legacy, but we're going to show you other legacy characters that we haven't touched on, and then, of course, which I think was probably Alex Ross's goal, was to connect it to Kingdom Come. There was just something about that I think some of it had to do with even like the Dale Eaglesham artwork that I really loved in that series. It was big, and the JSA could be their own corner, whereas Justice League of America at that time had to... we were coming off the JLA series. We were coming off of Identity Crisis and Infinite Crisis. Like, it feels like that one had to be something because they're quote unquote the flagship team of the DC universe at that time. So I think Brad Meltzer, I personally really dug that series. I love that Zero issue that goes back to some of the Silver Age stuff, which is great. Plus it had Vixen and Roy Harper in it. So I was like, okay, you sold me on that. But it had more to do, and then it just became like a rotating writer title, and then Dwayne McDuffie got on it, and then James Robinson was writing it at the end when Kongorilla and some, all
and,
these.
Mikhail Tomas, the Blue Star Man, was there too.
Yeah. So that one kind of lost its legging, I think, as it went on. But yeah, you're gonna keep reading them, or are you gonna tap out?
Well, it also got to the point where I can't find, or not, I don't know where like issues 12 to 24 are of the Justice Society of America. They're somewhere probably nearby here. But so if I find them, I'll continue on with that. But as I was, and again, I'm like oh, gee, shiny. I find things I found my copy of, one of the 2 copies I have of Superman 423, Whatever Happens in a Man of Tomorrow. And I want to read that again, but I got to make sure I find the Action Comics 583 to go along with that. Because that was, again, that's a great read. And it's like, I see these things, I just want to start reading things again. So I'm actually sort of put a timeout for a little bit on my TV watching as I'm just trying to read some more stuff. It's like, I go up and down with my stuff because I'm surrounded by comics. Quite literally.
I go through these little phases where I'm like, I got to read a comic a day. Like, it doesn't take long. Just read 1 comic a day. So at the very least, 7 comics a week. You make some progress. You go through some stuff, And then 4 days goes by and I haven't read a comic. And it's like, and then I'm trying to catch up. And then as all of a sudden, so it's like, it's really, I find it's very hard for me to like, as soon as I come into my office, I'm like, I'll sit at my desk and I'll read a comic. Then like the computer's right here. And then it's like, you get sucked in and like all of a sudden I'm working and I was like, I just was supposed to read a comic.
Can I talk about a comic I just picked up at Golden Eagle the other day? So when I stopped in there, it's the Easter extravaganza. When you spend over $5, you get an Easter egg where you open up inside and you get like a coupon for a future visit. Mm-hmm. So I picked up completely randomly. I hadn't known anything about this book. I saw it on the shelf. Batman Dark Age.
Oh,
by
yes. For a treat there.
Mr. Russell. I forget Mr. Russell's first name.
Mark Russell.
Thank you, Mark Russell. And of course, Mike and Laura Allred, who I absolutely love their artwork. Now, I know they had a collaboration before on Superman Space Age.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Again, overlooked it, hadn't read it, but I actually placed an order for the trade recently, but the trade got canceled. So maybe they'll resolicit it. So
I hope so.
It just came out, this Batman Dark Age. I knew nothing about it going in, but the creative team, well, especially the artwork, got me into it. It's a 6-issue miniseries. And I'm just going to read you very briefly what I found about like the solicitation for it originally. It says, meet Bruce Wayne, Gotham's favorite delinquent son. In an origin story like no other, witness the boy become a dark knight shaped by a city in turmoil as it marches towards its prophesied doom. So it's an alternate story, alternate origin. And I'm enjoying the artwork. There's a couple of great funny moments. But when I get to the last page, it's a complete out of left field shocker that makes me want to. I can't wait to read issue 2. I just ordered issue 2 from DCBS and issue 3. I'm like, my mind is blown. I haven't had a surprise like this completely out of left field since the end of Flash 73 when Barry Allen comes back out of left field. And I'm like, holy crap, this did it for me. So I won't spoil it, but oh my God, if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. If you know anything about DC history, this last page had me just scratching my head. Oh my Godding, when's issue 2 coming out? Loved it. I'm glad I picked it up because I don't think I would have picked it up had I not just stopped in and saw the release and spend $5 to get an Easter egg at Golden Eagle. But anyway, so highly recommended. Oh my God, I so want to tell you guys about it, but it just came out. I won't spoil it. Oh my God, check it out if you haven't already.
Yep, I really hope that they come out with that Superman Space Age trade, Brian.
Yeah, I know it's in hardcover, but the trade for some reason, it got canceled and said we'll resolicit. So I have to see if they're going to resolicit that. But Batman Dark Age, bye.
Adam, did you read Superman Space Age or no?
Well, to the extent that I read anything that I've bought in comic shops recently. Yeah, basically, yeah. But yeah, the premise here is it's kind of like what was being done with the Fantastic Four life story and Spider-Man life story. Just characters aging in more or less real time through periods of real history and comics history.
Yep.
In this case, it's the Silver Age Superman, and it kind of tracks his development through like the space age of the Kennedy administration up through the 80s. And the framework there, kind of like with the Fantastic Four and the coming of Galactus, Superman is visited by Pariah, and he's told, "Hey, guess what? In a couple of decades, the Anti-Monitor is going to come, and your reality is going to end. So, just what are you going to do with that information? What you will." So we do get to see Mike Allred drawing the Anti-Monitor, which is exciting for several of us on this call right now. And just Russell gets to tell the kind of story he's excelled at telling from that point on.
Yeah, that was, I mean, the initial premise. And some of the things that I saw about Superman, I was like, oh, well, of course I want to read this. It's got Crisis connections, I just, because that was the setup right in the first opening pages. But then you get, and I shouldn't be surprised because it's Mark Russell and he tends to write more introspective stories occasionally and things with a lot of exploration of character. And suddenly you get this whole story of Superman and his kind of like loneliness that he has with this knowledge that Pariah has put in his head, and it's like suddenly all his relationships with the other hero, like it's great. It's not what I expected at all. So I am looking forward to the Batman one because Batman was in the Superman one, and it just was, it also had tinges of John Byrne's Generations comic too, which kind of did the same thing. What if these characters aged in real time? Other people take over the mantles, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. So if you haven't read the Superman, well, you said you're waiting for the trade, you should really try to get a hold of that.
Yeah, and let's just say, listen to the last 5 minutes. Had I read the Superman Space Age, which I would have had it not been canceled, I would not have had as much of an oh my god to the Batman had I read Space Age, but I didn't, so I had a great reaction to it. And of course now
That's cool.
I don't want to spend the money for the hardcover, but if I have to, I have to, because I guess the original single issues were, I think, like $10 each cover price, I think. So that's what sort of why I just passed it by the first time.
Yeah, because of prestige format.
Right. So maybe I should look into that again. I don't know.
I can't imagine they'll be that jacked up in price, so.
But again, you have to find all 3 issues. Sure. Because I saw like issue 1 is still on DCBS to back order, like the first issue for like $5.99 with 40% off. But it's like, okay, they only have issue 2 and 3 incentive covers. So like, I'm not spending $60 for an incentive cover. Give me the trade. But anyway,
buy the first issue, read a page a day, and by the time you're done with it, you'll find the other 2.
Yeah. Okay.
What are you gonna say, Brian?
Oh, I was gonna say at the comic shop this week, I saw in the new releases that there's a new Sam and Twitch comic out. Sam and Twitch Case Files by Todd McFarlane. He actually wrote it. Yeah, he drew the cover. Well, at least it's cover B. I think cover A was somebody else, but and it was only $2.99. So I'm assuming that's just because it's issue number 1, but maybe because it's McFarlane, it'll always be $2.99. I don't know. Todd gets his way, I don't know, but I loved the original, Sam and Twitch. Bendis did the Sam and Twitch comic back in in 2000 or 99 or whatever it was, and that was great. So I decided, what the hell, I'll check out issue number 1 for $3. The art is Szymon Kudransky.
Okay.
So it was pretty nice. So yeah, that was my little experiment for the week. Try that new book. Kind of crazy that I say it was only $2.99.
Yeah, exactly.
What a bargain.
I was listening to an old CGS episode, and we were like it was actually the episode where we talked about DCBS for the first time. It was like episode number 6 or something like that. And you were saying how, oh, if you have a comic store near you, great, go support them. If you don't, here's this company. You're like, comics are expensive, Marvel's going up to $250 and DC is going up to $250, and some things are $299. That was expensive.
What's crazy is when I look through some of old comics, and it's like, I forgot, like, even in the mid 90s, like, or early 90s, there were a lot of comics that were $250. We somehow, like, blocked that out of our memory. Like, early, Gru's that went to, like, Dark Horse or wherever Gru went first, it was like, holy, wait, this was, I think, it was like, oh, this was $2 in 1992. Like, how do I not remember paying that much money back then, or whatever year it was? It was like, oh man, there's a surprising number of comics that were way more expensive than I remembered them being, right? Obviously, Marvel and DC were typically always like cheaper, and we sort of hold that as like the benchmark of what comics cost. But then lots of indie books. I mean, even indie books in the late 80s were like $1.50. And it was like, oh, everything else was 75 cents. But I was happy to pay $1.50 for, whatever it was, because it was interesting and different,
So when Image hit, Marvel and DC on their like average basic titles, were $1 or $1.25. Youngblood came out at $2.50.
Yeah.
And we bought it.
And we bought it. We probably bought 3 copies, with different covers or whatever bullshit,
So, yeah. I mean, I loved when comics were $1. I mean, I loved them when they were 60 cents. That's when I got in. I got in at 60 cents, and then the big thing was, oh no, they're going to 75 cents. Oh no, riot, and then they went to $1, but dollars seemed kind of cool because you knew what you were getting every, if I have $10, I got 10 comics plus tax, but yeah, that the Image pushing up to $2.50, and so in retrospect, we actually really had cheap comics for a long time, cheap as opposed to now, but lately they're going crazy with that stuff.
Back in the day, before episode 300, I might have been episode 299, we read a whole bunch of comics numbered 300. One of them, I think it was Detective Comics 300, on the inside cover had an editorial about why they were going from 10 to 12 cents cover price, and it was they explained it all at the time. It was like 1960, 61. I just thought that got a real kick out of reading that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole reason why newsstands kicked comics off of their racks, because they were like, they're not profitable. They're too cheap. They actually were too cheap for newsstands. When they can sell a magazine and get a lot more content and sell it for a higher price. But comics just weren't profitable. So, they actually they probably should be where they are now if you talk about inflation or whatever else, but they're just too, sometimes I just think it's ridiculous. I read a comic and I'm done in 3 minutes, and I was like, that was $5.99, really? So that's why I'm thankful for the DC app, at least, because that's the one I have. I'm saving tons. Oh my! I don't know how they're making money. I don't know how they're not making money on me.
Volume.
Definitely not making money on me, because I'm gonna, I'm paying that $99 a year, and I'm gonna try to read at least $1,000 worth of books this year. I read 500 last year, so I'm reading $1,000 worth of books this year. Oh.
I had a question, relating to big doings in CGS land lately. This morning I noticed on Facebook somebody had edited together a cell phone video of images of the Abomination and edited in my old Mohatmu entry for the character.
Yes.
Where did that come from?
So, I've been my interest in being creative has been rekindled a little as we're approaching the 20th anniversary and we're doing all this stuff. And so I was like, ooh, we should play around with some video. Everything's about video these days, right? And we're still doing, boring old podcasts and everybody else is doing video. So like I wanted to play around, but I didn't want to bother people and I didn't want to make more work for everybody else and make everybody, make a set and buy cameras and lights and everything, right? So like what can I do with video that like it's just ready for me without a lot of fuss and muss? And it was like, well, in these short form video things, most of them, like so on YouTube specifically, you can only be 60 seconds. So I was like, well, what the hell can you do in 60 seconds, right? And I was like, well, Mohatmu, a lot of those entries, right, were 2 to 3 minutes, and like they could be edited. Like most important parts of a character's story could be edited down to a minute. So I like let me give this a shot. So I did it. I took your episode. I edited out some of the pauses and some of the like height and weight or whatever. It was not super crucial to the interest of the character, right? And I found some cool images online and I just made some motion and some things. And it was like, actually, that's kind of cool. And I already have thousands of views, Bird. You're an internet phenom, man.
Thousands, huh?
So I'm going to try to do every single one. It's going to take a while. Obviously, there's a lot of them, but as you well know, but I thought it would be fun, and if people are watching, then I'm gonna just keep editing them together. And then before I'm done, you'll have to start on the who's who, so that we have more. I know you always talked about doing that, right?
Yeah, I remember, and I've been waiting for the right excuse to get back in that saddle again. So. Yeah, you may have given me the right kick in the pants there, Brian.
Yeah, I was thinking it would actually kind of be cool. Like it might be fun to do like a Marvel one day, a DC the next, a Marvel one day, a DC the next, right? But then obviously you'd have to start recording them. So there's no rush. I'll just keep moving forward with the Ohatmu entries. But if you do decide to do who's who, then I can start alternating them, and that would be kind of cool. So that or Peter can do the who's who, and I'll do the Ohatmu, and then we'll have 2 a day, or just one of each. I don't know, something, whatever we do. I don't know.
Yeah, because we have that YouTube page, and it's got some followers on there, and we mostly dump obviously the episodes, and you guys record video and we record audio, and but short attention spans. I think it goes back to the forum thing, right? Like, for the longest time, sort of thinking about how feedback has really changed over the years for podcasters. People email, but not to the level that they did before. People might voicemail, but again, not to the level that they did before. Getting feedback it's just different because everybody has tons of different platforms that they go to, right? But what in the past, I don't know how many years, has been the thing that's captured everybody's attention, so much so that the nudniks and the government are trying to ban a platform, or at least parts of a platform. It's the short form video. It's the reels on Instagram. It's the Facebook has a version, and of course YouTube has shorts and TikTok, and they get views because they're so easy to absorb and digest. I do it when I can't sleep, scrolling through, seeing funny videos, and seeing people making recipes way too fast that I can never like follow what they actually did, but it looks good, and clips.
Well, I put the videos on TikTok, and it was maybe within 45 minutes, and they already had 500 views each. Like, it was just like,
all right, yeah.
Now they've slowed down. It was like the initial 45 minutes was like a deluge of views, and then now it's slowed down. They must have like taken it out of the algorithm or something. So because that algorithm is a crazy black box of, you have no idea what satanic ritual is happening to generate those views, right? But it's the idea that it was just like instantaneous. I was just refreshing, and it was like 75 more views. Just like, what the hell is even going on? Like,
yeah.
So,
plus what is a view, right? Like that's a big question. What's a view? Is it 3 seconds? Is it the whole video? I don't know.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah.
You know. So yeah. So there's you buried the lead that CGS now has a TikTok.
We've entered the 21st century, kicking and screaming, as I said.
I mean, I'm just like this podcast was always about me fucking around with new technology.
That's right.
I mean, that's the whole reason. We had no idea we were going to do this 20 years later. We had no idea that people around the world would give a shit about what we were talking about, right? We did it because I wanted to try something new, and I made Peter do it with me because I don't really know what the hell I'm doing, right? So that's the whole genesis of this thing is playing around with technology. And so now there's short form video, and I mean, there could be long form video too. I'm not ruling it out, but I just like this is the thing that's like easy for me to play around with without bothering you guys, right? And so you know, I mean, I bother Peter with 500 texts a day about all the stupid ideas that I have, but regardless, the rest of you are spared. So that's what it's about. And, you know, I could get bored in 3 weeks and then not give a crap anymore and, you know, whatever. But for now, I'm having fun and I'm experimenting and we're watching what happens. And, you know, and potentially, you know, like the YouTube stuff could generate us a little revenue, which helps to pay some bills, which is nice. And then, you know, so that's, you know, it sustains us perhaps, you know, I mean, we'll probably make 28 cents a week on YouTube or whatever, because we don't have millions of views and stuff, but you know, it's 28 cents we didn't have before. So what the hell? I don't know, you know?
Yeah, no, it's great. I think it's great, you know, and plus it's like giving content, you know, like, cause I always thought of like the crisis tapes that we do, it would be great to just like take out just the cover discussion and I would put images together of anything we talk about. That's like, but it's time, right? Because that's long form. But these things are so fast. You can find images, boop, 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 add some music and it's done, you know? So yeah, I like that.
By the way, to go back to our cost of comics discussion, I was looking at it. It just took me a little longer to find it than I thought. The first issue of Usagi Yojimbo, which came out in 1987. Now, I didn't buy issue 1. I was maybe started buying it in 1988, but it was $2. You know, and so I was 13, 14, and I was buying $2 comics and not really caring because it was so cool because it was way different than Marvel and DC. And so, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we were spending more money on comics than like we remember. So paying $2 for, you know, being angry that Marvel was going to $250 in 2006 or 2005 or whatever, when I was paying $2 in 1987 is like, come on, you know. I mean, and I had way less money back then too.
I was buying, you know, during the 75-cent cover days. When Miracle Man came out, the first issue was 75 cents, but then that 3D issue was $2.25 in 1985. I bought that issue.
You paid for the glasses.
Yeah, really. What was Dark Knight? Dark Knight was like $2.95 in 1986, you know. So,
and was the Marvel Fanfare, were those like $1.75 or something? Because they had the nice shiny paper back then. They were expensive. I know that. I just don't remember how expensive.
See, the first issue was $1.25 in 1981.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Because what were comics back then? Like
50 cents, probably 60 cents. Yeah. That's kind of why I get a little like when they jack up the prices, but there's no real reason for it. Like if it's an anniversary issue, but then they dump reprints in, I get annoyed because it's like, no, I don't want reprints. You know, if it's therefore, while DC was doing like 80-page or 100-page one-shots, all new content, usually for like $9.99. I was kind of okay with that because it was like, okay, I'm getting new stuff. And then that price kept getting, the page count kept lowering. Like, you know, books are like $7.99, $9.99, but now the page count's down to like 40 pages. What? No, I don't think so, you know. So I'm not in the singles market anymore. I still get some single issues here and there, but I can quickly turn off if it's like, oh, your first issue is $5.99. No, I can't do it. I can't do it. There are ways that I can read your book without paying $5.99, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's discretionary spending. Like, it's just we do it for fun, and if it's too expensive, it's not fun, and then we don't want to do it.
Right.
So many other things competing for our money. Like, why? You know, I mean, I know that everything's more expensive, right? And the artists have to eat, and everybody has to get paid. Like, I get it, but it does feel like they're finding excuses to make. Like, I am not a fan of oversized issues if the main story isn't oversized. I don't want to read the backup story. You take that and shove it. It might be great. It's not part of the comic. I don't want it. I often don't even read them. I'm like, nope, I finished. This is the story I bought. I finished it. I don't care about those other 8 pages. Just throw them. I almost never read them because it's not part of the comic in my brain. That is not part of the comic. Don't care. And so then you're charging me for something I'm not even reading, Like I hate. So I just give me a regular 22-page comic and make it as cheap as you can make it, as long as everybody gets paid, That's what I want.
Do you want to end on some CGS 20th anniversary trivia?
Yes.
That I've just been doing while we've been talking.
Oh, okay.
So this is trivia based on the first year of CGS. Nothing too major. Can you name, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 5 movie review episodes in the first year. Do you want to go around the room?
Well, it was. Oh, okay.
Yeah, go ahead. You can go.
Sin City.
Okay. Anybody else? That's one.
I can always name Batman Begins because that was my first episode of CGS.
Great. Yes.
Oh, good God Almighty! That was my guess, by the way.
I got the next one.
Pass.
Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right. That was going to be my next one mentioned.
Now, the next 2, one is a movie and one was part of a fan film, part of an interview, which is probably a big hint. But
that's that Star Wars thing.
Yeah, Star Wars Revelations. Yeah. And then one more movie. Marvel movie. If my research is correct.
A Marvel movie?
Mm-hmm.
Was it the Hulk? No, that was later. What was it? It's like the 3rd Spider-Man or something.
Was it one of the X-Men movies?
No. Was X-Men? Yeah, it's the same producers of X-Men, or the same movies, or the same studio.
Yeah, I don't.
Is it a Wolverine thing? I don't know. I don't even.
Was
remember.
it the Fantastic Four movie?
Fantastic Four.
Okay.
There you go. All right. Along the same lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We did 9 Book of the Month episodes the first year. Can you name them? Pants, you want to start?
Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yep, that was the first one.
I know.
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead.
Shit.
Yep. Adam?
Was Animal Man in the first year?
Yes.
Okay, with Jeff Clark.
Oh, crap.
Yes.
I'm going to have to pass. I don't know.
Okay.
We must have done a Marvel one because we went DC Marvel independent, right? Like,
Yep.
So what the hell was the Marvel? What was the first Marvel one?
I know Pants has read it. I know Kevin has read it.
Mm.
We all have read it.
Is it a Daredevil thing?
Yes. Which one?
I don't know.
Guardian Angel?
Guardian Devil.
Guardian Devil.
Oh, the Kevin Smith, right.
Shit,
Yeah.
Guardian Devil. All right.
Yeah.
Damn it.
2 more Marvel, 1 DC-ish, and 2 independent.
DC-ish.
Was it because it's a Vertigo book? Was it DMZ?
No.
No. Fables? Fables Volume 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the pre-pants era, so I'm not that familiar with it 100%.
It's technically the pre-Murd era too, because I didn't join the cast full time until I got back from grad school at the end in 2006.
70s Marvel, and we had the author on for
Tomb of Dracula?
Yes.
The author being Marv Wolfman, right?
Yep. We had Marv Wolfman, yeah. 2000s Marvel in The trade that we read was a digest format.
Runaways?
No, it's in the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man corner of the...
Oh, that...
It's not Aranya.
Ariana?
Yes, Aranya. Yep, yes it is.
It's Heart of the Spider.
Yeah. And now the two indies. One is...
We didn't do... Oh.
Go ahead.
We didn't do the...
Cerebus?
No, Jamie's highest recommendation.
Strangers in Paradise?
Strangers in Paradise. That was later, right?
Yeah, that was later. I'll just give them to you because they might be hard. Goon.
I didn't know you guys talked about Goon.
A new Goon came out this week.
Yeah. And Wanted.
Wanted, okay.
Oh, wow. I forgot we did that.
Mark Miller, J.G. Jones, yeah. And your final question. On episode 100, live from Golden Eagle, our very first live event, we had 2 people introduce the episode.
Shit.
Can you name them? Pants, who were you going to say?
Well, I was thinking, was Neil Selesky one of them?
No.
But he was on the episode, though.
Yes.
Because he
was it the frickin' Swear Kid?
No, Danny Brunell,
no.
One is somebody that has been to a lot of the events. He's kind of local-ish. And another one, she is not local-ish.
Lena Taylor.
Lena Taylor, yep. And Bruce Rosenberger.
Oh,
Bruce.
Yep. They did a whole little introduction for episode 100. So, there you go, a little CGS 20th anniversary to end us here. All right. Say something funny so we have something funny to go on.
I'm not a trained monkey. I can't be funny on command.
Dance pants, Dan.
He's just an untrained monkey.
There you go. Ha ha. Untrained monkey.
Somebody shoot him with a hot dog gun.
Days. Forum's been down for 3 days. 3 days. A lot of hours in 3 days. Yep. 3 frickin' days of nothing. Got no one to talk to. Nope. No. But every time I launch my browser, I get that screen. Yeah. It's a beautiful screen. It's very nice. Oh, look at this. We're gonna get the forum up, but, we gotta work on it. It's not gonna be here. It's gonna be down for, we don't know, but it's gonna be better. Well, nothing. I got nothing. How pathetic am I? I can go without my wife for, like, weeks, months, and the forum's down for a frickin' day. And I'm like, get me out of here. Yeah. Well, if you had, like, only Marty to talk to, you'd be freaking crazy, too. Yeah, nothing. My Justice League figures are here. They're nice. They don't talk to me either, though. No, they just stand on the shelf and they're looking at me saying, shouldn't you be on the forum? Nope, because it's not there. Nope. and I don't know. I should be on the forum. I would give anything if the forum was up right now. Even if the forum was just populated by just Bill. That's it. Just Bill talking about the hair in his belly button. I would be there. I would read that and I would interact with the hair on just Bill's belly button. I would. But it's not up. It's not up. I miss the forum. I do miss it. I miss the pinheads from Chicago, and I miss the frickin' Amy. I miss Amy. Yeah, that's a big one. 2 of them. But they're not there. Nothing. So I'm sitting here frickin' talking to myself. Yep. I'm getting these weird phone calls. I mean, people calling and hanging up, and I hear like people crying on the other end a little bit, little sobs, little painful sobs. And I think I know who it is. I think it's David Price. Yeah, he doesn't get out much. He's kind of shy, so he keeps hanging up. Yeah. Then there's Skype. Yeah, Skype's a lot of fun. I could do that. I can go on Skype, but every time I go on Skype, Matt S calls me and talks dirty to me and he sexes me up and stuff. And it's kind of creepy, guy. Well, he's okay for a guy, but I don't know. I don't know. That's weird, So, yeah. I'd pay some. Yeah, I even miss Citizen Dave. Yeah, God bless him. I miss him. Yeah. He's a good guy. So, I don't know. I just get the form up, okay? Come on. Get it up. Get the form up. I need somebody to talk to. It's scratching my leg here. So, see ya.